Hi, it's Kylie Coo. Welcome to my studio. So it's Sunday, 23rd of March. Meant to record this yesterday, but I was just simply too tired. I'd had a really busy week. Won't bother saying any more, but it was just so full on that when yesterday came, I was just too tired to do anything. I did later on in the day go out for a little bit of a walk, and you'll see a bit of that footage at the beginning. Got a new phone. Camera on it is brilliant, and yeah, I'd quite like to record my videos with that, but I'm going to stick with this video camera for the moment. Anyway, just wanted to do a quick recap on kind of where I'm at with this 52-week project. So if you happen to be new here, then welcome. This project that I'm working on at the moment, I'm doing one segment, page, whatever you might want to call it, a week over the 52 weeks of 2025. And what I'm basically doing is what I'm calling a spiral scroll. If you've been here before, you've watched these, you'll know exactly what I'm up to. And what I wanted to say, and welcome to you as well, of course, and what I wanted to say is that I am gradually managing to roll this a little bit tighter. I just roll it slightly tighter each time. So you can see where we're getting to with that, even though I've got it upside down, never mind. There we go. So it is starting to roll a bit tighter. And at the moment, I am simply... I won't put it all together again. Before I had just a little bit of... Oops, that went into my coffee. Oh well, coffee died. Before I just had a little bit round it. I've just been holding it in place with this kind of mini clip at the moment. I've still got the last 3 weeks' pages to attach. I wanted to ask, do you want to see me doing a video on how I attach them? I think I said before I would probably do a few at a time, see if I can come up with different ways. This is the last page in terms of the bundle that I'd dyed before on the back, because as you know, I'm doing different things on the back. I've still got a lot of the kind of back of it to do. I have, though, dyed a lot of other scraps, just using the same inks as before. So it's the Daler Rowney FW in indigo and the Daler Rowney FW in sepia. Two of my very favourite inks to work with, and I like the way they kind of combine. So yeah, I did a whole batch of these. Some of them are much darker than previous, just because I kind of let the ink sit on them for longer, but each one kind of different again. So this will just about take me through the full year. I think I'll still be a few short, but I'll dye them at some point. So this week will be week 12, but I want to show you something that a very dear, very kind friend sent me. Give me just a moment. So my friend messaged me a few weeks ago to say she has these old vintage, I don't know, they could even be antique, I don't know, spindles, spool spindles. And did I want them because it might do for the scroll? And she said, if they don't work for it, but you want them anyway, please have them. So, I mean, these have still got some of the original threads on it. You can see how it's kind of faded there and a bit brighter in colour there. And these two colours just go so nicely together. So, you know, I wasn't quite sure what they were going to look like when I got them, but I think these are going to be perfect. And I like that it's got a flat end, because when this is complete, I will want it to stand up. Now, I'm not going to attach it to the middle, I'm going to attach it close to the bottom. I'll think about whether it's round this bit or right the way down, because I want this to be kind of self-standing. So thank you very much, my dear friend. I greatly appreciate it. She wouldn't accept the postage for it, which was an incredible $21 from the US. But she said, if you feel you want to contribute something towards it, then give something to charity. So I did, but I went to one of the charity shops, you might call it a thrift store, and I got some vintage books, and I'll just quickly show you those. If this is not your cup of tea and you just want to get to me making the next segment, then do flip ahead. I'll try and put chapters in so you can just jump ahead to it. She also put in this, there was a card, beautiful card, and this little kind of folder with lots of goodies in this. So I'm going to use some of these, maybe not on what I'm going to do today, but I'm going to pick that up in another journal. What I do want to do today though, this is so beautiful. You know, usually I would keep these envelopes and then try and repurpose them. This is so beautiful, and I'm just so grateful that I want to incorporate this into my page for this week. So, back in a mo. So I bought 5 books. Now, I think some of you will be astounded at what I paid for these, because I know, you know, especially when I watch some videos from the States, you're buying things for 50 cents, etc. These books cost me a total of £21.44, which equates to $27.81. So, but you know, it's for charity, and I am okay for that. It's for Oxfam, which I think is a great charity. So our prices here tend to be way more expensive than you get, certainly in the US, I think. But I'm going to quickly show you them. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, just a couple of minutes. So my plan is to alter these, and my problem is I buy old books and then I can't basically bear to do anything with them. But these are a great size. I've not measured them just now. When I come to do a project, I'll let you see it. But I could have picked up more like this. This one's slightly deeper than the rest. I just thought they were a great size. They had more, but yeah, there's a limit to how much I was going to spend that particular day. This one is slightly bigger. And why I picked these books in the end is that when I looked in them, and I love when people have signed them and there's little things in the margins. This one is Sean O'Casey. And in here, the owner has cut out pieces from newspapers, including when Sean O'Casey came to Edinburgh, visited Scotland. He'd been in all 4 capital cities in these islands. That's meaning, I guess, the British Islands. So, you know, I just loved that idea that here's someone that's been putting things in. You know, there's a bit here, and I can't remember if this one had any more, but there's certainly the odd notes in the margins. So I then started to look inside others. It's a different person's book. There's a whole series from this person. But when I looked in here, there's little pieces of other things in here. Look at this. This essay was written in 1938, published 1939, and they've, I don't know if you can see that. They put lines under thing there saying yes. I just love that. And this in some ways is what stops me from actually then going on and using some of these books, because in some ways they seem too precious. But this one had this bit of map in the front, the Missionary Journeys of St. Paul, and I thought how wonderful it would be if I'm doing an altered book to incorporate something like that in it. I can't remember if there's anything else. Some had a lot of things, others not so much. Individually £3.49, so like I say, not cheap, but again, a bit about Confucius. Oh, I can't even say it. The work of Confucius. Confucianism. So they've written notes in here, and you know, I don't think I would ever cover that over. I think that's worth preserving. They clearly, I think, ticked off here what they've got or what they've read. I love this. Let me just read this. Life travels upward in spirals. He who takes pains to search the shadows of the past below us then can better judge the tiny arc up which he climbs, more surely guess the dim curves of the future above him. Wonderful. I think I might actually read this in its entirety. Yeah, I think I'll read this in its entirety before I actually do anything with it. This one, more bits cut out. Men and Ideas, Encounter, number 15, December 1954. Why did Machiavelli write The Prince? I mean, these are just pieces of history. And they've actually stuck something in here about Machiavelli as well. And there's the man himself. Notes through it. Last one. Again, more pieces. I mean, this is why I ended up taking these. Gosh, look at that. 4 1/4, I think that's percent, that's supposed to, yeah, percent. Income tax free. Build your future, let your money earn for you. St Pancras Building Society. Is there a date on this? Ah, about Thoreau's Hard Road. From Peace News, 28/12/62. So 28th December 62. He was not an unsocial being. Yeah, I won't read all this stuff because... So yes, this is about Thoreau, so I think I'll be reading this as well. Will I get round to altering these? I don't know. I hope so. But I'd like to do it in a way that a lot of what's here is still seen. Anyway, let's get on with week 12. So I'm still trying to keep everything hidden in terms of addresses, etc. But what I'm going to do is to use my heat tool to see if it will unstick some of the glue so I can save a bit more of the pattern. Usually I keep these envelopes so that if I'm sending anything out to anybody, then, you know, I reuse it, but I just felt I really want to use this one in the project. So I got that off, it turned black. I might actually use that in something as well, so I'm not going to throw that away. And what I'm going to do now is to see if I can get the tape off, get a bit more and salvage a bit more. I'm using this to hold the envelope down so I don't get my fingers burned, because I've done that a couple of times, but I'm just working gently along the edge now. Right, keep going with this. So it took a little while, but I'm basically there. I've cut my friend's contact details out of there. I could have tried to lift the sticker up, but I think she had quite rightly recycled the envelope from someone else, so that's fine. My name and address is still in the middle here. I'm just going to cut that out as well. Oh, I've still got a bit of tape to cut off there too, but I can always use that another time. I think I'm going to get most of what I need from in here. The only tiny bit that lifted was this, so I'm quite happy about that. It doesn't disrupt the pattern. It's a bit sticky, but then what I'll probably do when I put it down onto my page, onto my segment, I will then go over it with a matte medium, which should get rid of any stickiness. But I've managed to save a lot more now by taking that tape off. If you are going to do something like this, and you might well know this already, you need to be careful because this gets very hot. So, you know, use something like this and then give it a second or two before you start to pull it. Burnt my finger a couple of times. Right, I'm going to see what I can get left and then I'll be back to do the page. Right, so I've cut a piece out and I've just used the last piece of the first batch, if you know what I mean, and I'm literally just going to stick this down on here. So I've just cut it big enough, it doesn't matter the angle, maybe something like that. I don't know if, no, that shouldn't. So I'm going to get most of this in. I was assuming my friend had decorated the envelope, but if she's reused an envelope, perhaps not, but you know, that doesn't matter. It's all about reusing. Right, let me think. So I was just deciding what way up I wanted it. I think I'm going to make it this way. If I get anything in it, it's not going to matter. I can change it again. About like that. I think that way. I'm just going to put a layer. And I'm going to put a bit of a layer on here as well. I just want it to grip. I've done that on the wrong side, haven't I? No, I've not. I've done it on the correct side. Gosh. I think I am so tired at the moment that my brain is just not quite functioning as it should. But we'll get there. Right. Sticking. That will come out, and I think most of that will come out. I think that's fine. I am going to put something under there. Just so I can press it well down. And same on this side. And in fact, I'm just going to put a thin layer of this on at the moment. Just to stop the stickiness. That was a little bit that I'd lifted, I think. So I'll put it under there. And I'm going to leave that to dry before I tear it into shape and do anything more. Time for another cup of coffee, I think. I'll just lift it up. Still got my blob of 3-in-1 glue. Crazy what I can't let go of. Right. back shortly. So I've given it a quick blast with the heat tool just to try and dry it a bit quicker, and all I'm going to do now is my kind of usual and just try and pull it along in line with the piece of paper underneath. Doesn't matter if there's some little bits stick up, that's okay. I'm just going to work my way around that. These little bits will of course be kept because there's always something I can use them for. Doesn't matter if little bits like that stick up. Right, be right back. So I don't know exactly what else I want to put on here yet, but one of the things I think I do want to do for definite is I'd like to incorporate some of the threads. And I think what I'm going to do is to go all the way around it. Just a very simple stitch all the way around, maybe kind of overlapping. Now when I come to glue it to another piece, I will lose some of the stitching, certainly on one side. And I'm also thinking, I don't know if this is daft or not, but using two strings together. So, two threads I should say. I can but try. So I'm going to hope that's enough. What I am going to do in time, although I like the bulk of that, but I wouldn't want to waste it, I'm going to take all the thread off and put it onto a separate kind of spool. I'm hoping that length will be enough. So I'll cut this and then I'll cut another one and then I can show you. So I've threaded them both through the one needle. I don't know how it'll look when it comes out. I don't know if I'll be able to distinguish between the two or not. Talking knot, I will put a knot here. Fingers. There we go. Right, I ended up putting a third knot in it because the two knots I did were not beside each other, so that's okay. And what I'm going to do now, I've got my bit of cardboard and I'm just going to go all the way around and kind of follow the line all the way around, so just poking holes in, not too close to the edge, but about there I think. I'm not going to make them too big because I don't think that thread is too thick. So just about, maybe between about 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 an inch between them. Doesn't really matter. Could be about, well, a little more than 1/2 centimetre apart. I think that's going to be thick enough for my needle to go through without making it too big a hole. So I'll just continue all the way around here. So I don't know how well you'll see that, but I've got the holes all the way around. And all I'm going to do now is to start to go through. Oh, it's quite thick. Now sometimes I will start from the other side, sometimes I might start from this side. Holes are just a little bit tight, but it's okay, I don't want to make them any thicker. So you can see where that's going. I think it gives a nice contrast. You can see both colours, and that's how it's going to look on the back. Don't mind that those little bits are sticking up. I can colour them at another point. So I'm just going to keep going round and I'll be back once I've gone all the way round. So I'm just about right round. Last couple of stitches. Did not too bad on measuring the thread. And then I'm going to just, oh, should I go back through that one? Can I go back through that? I think I'll try. Quite a tight hole though. Can I go through that one? No, I think we leave it there. Now, what did I see someone do? They do it round there 3 times, I think. Will this work? Probably not, but we'll give it a go. Oops, nearly pulled the needle off. That's not bad at all. Do another one just to make sure it's knotted. I think this is what they do. Just go around it. You need to keep it tighter in. So I've got the knot on that side where it started and the knot on that side where it ended. And you know, you can definitely see the 2 colours. I'm liking how they act around there, liking how they act on the back. So I now just need to decide what else I want to put on here, if anything. So I don't want to do too much to this, and of course I'll do the back at another point, but I've pulled out 2 of my pencils, the Polychromo Cobalt Green, which is a bit, no it's not quite, but never mind, and also the Polychromo in Dark Indigo. I don't want to lose a lot of the shape here, but I think in just a couple of places I might just try and emphasise it a little. I'm just going to bring you in a bit. Oops, too far. So just almost a little bit of kind of putting a shadow on it, which will just kind of make these stand out a little bit. So just down one edge and kind of along the bottom. To do it on everyone. Ooh, that sounds like geese. But it just lifts the pattern a little bit. Tempted to go down, well, I don't know, do I want to go down that side? I'm just going to keep going down the same side. Again, keeping this card very simple, but it's kind of symbolic of friendship. As I say, I don't know if my friend did the stenciling on this particular card, but you know, it's come from her, this particular piece of paper that I've used, envelope. And it's one of the things about YouTube, and sometimes it's what keeps me going on YouTube, is, you know, the number of friends I've made through being on here. And, you know, all of you who watch and support me by watching, it's just wonderful. Probably going off screen a little bit at times, but did that the wrong way, but it doesn't matter. Don't need to do everyone, so I think I'm quite happy that I'm going to leave it at that. I am going to put some words on though, some found words. Yeah, that's just lifted it slightly. So I'm going to put some found words down in here. I'll show you those in a minute. So, just before I finish up, I'd been thinking about all the hands that these have potentially passed through, people that used them for work or whatever, through my friends' hands, and the words that jumped out today, because I decided to use found words, and no matter how you identify, you know, the words are just what came to me, but you know, they would apply to anybody. But her living hand, I just thought, you know, the hands that these have passed through, the hands that have touched that bit of paper there that I've used, touched these threads, so that just felt appropriate. So it wasn't one word this week, it's her living hand. Do hope you've enjoyed it. Probably a bit on the long side this week, but sometimes it's just like that. So thanks ever so much for watching. Do take care. Bye for now. See you next time. Bye for now.